The next step in your machine analysis is to look at how much energy the car is given from your machine in order to move along the ramp and pop the balloon. And we actually have to focus in on the very last part of our machine. You see, in order to measure the amount of energy that the car has to pop the balloon, you have to do two things. You have to know its mass, which you can measure, and you have to know its speed or velocity. Velocity is speed in a certain direction. And in order to measure its speed, we actually have to know how much distance it has traveled. So you have to measure that, and the time that it took it to travel that distance in seconds. The distance is measured in meters. So to know how much energy we have in this car, you have to measure its mass, and then you also have to measure its speed, the distance that it travels, and the time it took to do that distance. Now, in order to make sure you record these things, you're going to have to draw up a table for your group, and this table is going to be shared around all of you. Now, for each one of these, what we call variables, things that can change here, we need to actually put them into their own column of a table. So make sure that you make a column for each one of these here, the mass, the distance, because that's what we're actually going to be measuring here, the distance, the time, and of course what you're going to work out with those variables, the kinetic energy of the car is what we're going to work out using these here, and you're going to work out how to do that in a later video. All you need to know now is that you need to record all of these here. So this is going to be for machine 1, your very first machine, to see how well it moves that car along there to try and pop the balloon. But when you do this, you don't want to just measure it once and hope that that's the way it's going to work every time, because we know in real life it's not going to work that way every time. In fact, I have some fantastic blooper videos of my first attempt at building this machine. No, you have to measure it several times in order to reduce the amount of error in your measurements. I want you to measure it not once, but at least 5 times. So you're actually going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, a minimum of 5 trials where you measure the mass, the distance, the time, and then work out the kinetic energy. And from those, you're going to get an average of them all in order to get your final results. And that's what makes a bit more of a fair test. The fact that we don't just measure once, we measure multiple times, average it out, and see how well we go. Now, you're also, before you measure this, you're going to be watching a video on how to reduce the amount of error in your measurements to try and make them as fair as possible. There's certain things we need to think about when we do measurements in science to help make sure we measure carefully and accurately and reliably. So you're about to watch that video now. Once you watch that video, I want you to set up your machine, set up a table so that you can record your results, and then measure each one of these variables in 5 different trials at least. You may have to have more because of the bloopers. Then I want you to average it. That's the completion of your next step.